Okay, shalom. We're tonight relating to Rav Zevin Zatzal. Now, I'd like to speak a little bit more about him as a person, and then afterwards we'll do a Dvar Torah of his or a Dvar Halacha of his, and then finally I would like to click it in with something connected with the Minchas Usher. So we'll come full circle. This is the article, beginning of the article that we're going to deal with today. But first, I'd like to talk a little bit about him. One of the things that Rav Zevin, I think, typified was being multifaceted. I'll just look at the different aspects of this person. His father was the Rav of a small town in White Russia called Kazimierov, and a Talmud Chacham. He sent his son though to the Mir Yeshiva where he learned from Rav Baruch Kamai. He was a chavrusa with the Sridei Eish with Rabbi Yechiel Yaakov Weinberg as a young man. Then he went to the Chabad Rav of Bobroisk, Rabbi Shmaryo Noach Schneerson. Now there was a wing of Chabad Hasidus that was called Kaposta, and so he was from that wing, and so he learned from him. He got smicha there. He also got smicha from the Rogachover and the Aruch HaShulchan. Just to appreciate that, because we learned about the Rogachover, you can appreciate what high standards the Rogachover had in learning, in mastery, and just the idea of getting smicha from the Rogachover, I think for most people would just be so far from even a remote possibility. Now, he was a Rav in White Russia, and then he joined forces with the Lubavitcher Rebbe, Rav Yosef Yitzchak Schneerson, and was involved in Torah education in the communist regime. So that is a whole side of Chabad Hasidus, which he was very much a part of, and he was Moser Nefesh, fearlessly being involved in that. But in other wings of the Jewish world, David Yechezkel Abramsky was one of the he was in England for a period of time. He was one of the Yerushalmim. In his later years, he lived in Bayit Vegan. And Rav Zevin worked with him on a Torah journal. Then, when he came to Israel, and it was not simple, by the way, getting out of there. I think he got a certificate with the help of Rav Kook. He became the Chabad Rav of Tel Aviv, but he was also a prominent religious Zionist Rav, and he was active with the Rabbanut Rashit. At one time, when he was still in Europe, he was even the religious representative in the Ukrainian parliament. So you get a sense of a person who is very many great things. A Rav, an activist, a scholar, and in many different worlds also. Chabad, religious Zionism, the Yeshivish Lithuanian world. Just to get a sense of his Sfarim, you get a sense of the scope. The main thing that's associated with him is the Encyclopedia Talmudit. Encyclopedia Talmudit was inspired by a vision of Rav Kook, that there be a central collection of Torah knowledge. It was founded by Reb Meir Bar Ilan, one of the sons of the Netziv, and the first editor was Rav Zevin. This is from a tribute to him in the website of the Encyclopedia Talmudit, the Talmudic Encyclopedia. The idea is they took I don't know exactly how many, but it's at least hundreds of topics in Torah, and they address them in an encyclopedic way, and it's a resource for Talmidei Chachamim, meaning it has something for the rank and file. It is written in a clear style, but it is a resource for Talmidei Chachamim, the Encyclopedia Talmudic. And again, I wanted to get a copy, but the Otzer Chachma is where I usually use that database for my sources. I have it on Bar Ilan, and maybe whatever, but I wanted it in the original, whatever. But the encyclopedia is really an awesome work. And the first 8 volumes were his. He had a team of Talmidei Chachamim working with him, but really it's his pen that was the final thing. Now, one of the leaders of this group, of the encyclopedia afterwards, Rav Yitzchak Yoshua Hutner, if I got the name right. I hope I didn't mess it up. So he wrote an article, and he points out something. And it was an article dedicated after Rav Zevin passed away. So he was the captain of the ship of the encyclopedia. 35 years, the last 35 years of his life, from the spring of Tufshin Bet, that's 1942, until when he passed away, 78, 77, whatever. So he was the head of the encyclopedia, Ki Yotzer Madrich Ve'orech, a creator, a guide, and an editor. Hatovei kol erchei encyclopedia, all the different entries in the encyclopedia. He was the one who gave them their form, ligvanei mashonim b'matbea shelo, and kesar haTorah. Now that's an expression that is used for very few people, but it was used for the Rav who gave him smicha, the Rav Traver, also Rav Meir Simcha. Shalat shilton b'li mitzarim b'chol tchumei haTorah. He was a total mastery over all areas of Torah. Mechazal v'ad legaonim v'rishonim haposkim ha'meforshim ad la'achronim, from the rabbinic literature, the gaonic literature, the rishonim, the poskim, the meforshim. V'yadat Toratam be'akefa kashem she'yada liklo al nikudat hamerkaz shelahem. He had a scope, but he also had depth, and he was able to penetrate to the core. Be'omek kamo berochav, depth like breadth, in all areas of Torah. Everything was spread before him. Now, this next paragraph is fascinating. He suggests that Rav Zevin developed a new style in halachic literature, and in some ways opens up a new area in Torah literature. Domesh Shalona Friz, the second paragraph here. Domesh Shalona Friz in Nomar, ki agon Rav Shlomo Yosef Zevin, lo zu belvad she'aya yotzro shel signon hilchati chadash, signon harikuz v'habirut. We will not be exaggerating if we say that Rav Zevin not only was the creator of a new style of halachic writing, Rikuz and Bihirut, the style of focus and clarity. He also developed the thought world of the halacha in a shining and radiant light. I'm just translating over literally. He became the forerunner of a new era in Torah literature. he brought everything together, gathered everything together, but miskeret erchei halacha lemineim, in all these different entries of halacha. Each one was given the form of a whole unit. Asat divrei chachmei kol adorot lechol sifreihem v'chidusheim deoteim v'shitoteim matchilatam ve'ad la'achronim shebechachmei dorenu. He put everything together, all the chachamim of all the generations, their chidushim, their approaches, their from the early to the latest. V'zot lo asal derech hapsika machriya yedarko shel Rama. It wasn't that he wrote a sefer psak, ela al shitat haTalmud gofo. It was like the Talmud itself. Hamachanesim avareret kol michlol hadeot v'kol hamachlokot b'asifa achat. The same way the Talmud puts together all the approaches of the Amoraim, so he put together in his encyclopedic work all the approaches of the Tanoim, Amoraim, Gaonim, Rishonim, and Achronim. So it is that's an awesome thing. So again, I when I originally thought of our topic, of our topic for our chabur, I didn't even think of doing Rav Zevin. I actually thought of Rav Zevin as a resource from which I would be able to read about other authors. But then, as I got to know him through looking into Rav Meir Simcha and through looking into the Rogatchover, and I read his words about them, and then I started to be inspired to look into him as a person. I am totally blown away. Look at the range of the books that he wrote. Besides the encyclopedia, his is really one of the most classic collections of Hasidic stories, probably because of his scholarship. And it has and his ability to communicate things, it has a certain weight to it. His Hasidic stories coming from him than other works. Actually, his partner Rabbi Cheskel Abramsky, in many things, his good friend. So he tried to dissuade him from putting out the Sipurei Chasidim. He said, maybe he'll take away from the Kavod HaTorah. You're such a deep Talmud Chacham, and you're writing a book of story, a storybook. He said to Rav Abramsky, he says, if they sit Friday night and they read these stories and it helps them get Yirat Shamayim, it's worth more than any of my halachic articles. That's what he says. It's straightforward, simple people are reading my stories. So, Rav, just this derech hagav, by the way, Rav Abramsky and he had a very close friendship, and they said, I think this is a quote from Rav Abramsky, that they decided not to talk about chametz. What's chametz? They decided not to talk about Chassidus, Musar, and Sionut. Those were three things that they didn't share. Rav Abramsky was definitely not a Chassid, and Rav Zevin definitely was. Rav Zevin was definitely a Zioni, and Rav Abramsky was not. And Rav Abramsky was from the world of Musar, and Rav Zevin was not. So that was he has drushes, a book of drushes, Let Torah L'Moadim. This book is a classic in yeshivas, because from this book you can learn about what's Reb Chaim Brisk about. Look at the list of people that he has here. Netziv, again, they wrote in the introduction after he passed away about Rav Zevin himself, and they put this article that I mentioned. The Netziv, Reb Chaim, the Rogatchover, Reb Meir Simcha, Reb Chaim Moiser, Reb Kook, Reb Moshe Mordechai Epstein, who was the Rosh Hashiva of Slobodka. The Alter was the Mashgiach. Reb Baruch Ber Leibowitz, Chazon Ish, Reb Zalman Meltzer, and he has a mastery over their works, and he writes to give us a sense of their contribution. He wrote and wrote and wrote and wrote and wrote. One of the things he wrote for Torah journals over the years, and one of the things that this is a collection of his book reviews. When Sfarim would come out, look at this. the Otzar Gaonim, editions of the Rishonim, Shilas and Shuvas. So he would write a review as the book came out. This is another book, and I drew on this when we talked about making a mikvah out of snow. It's an article. It's a collection of halachic articles, but it's a collection of articles about halacha. I know that's sounds like kind of the same, but he takes these topics like old age, snow, war, the Kuzari and Halacha, Shailak, which is a halachic analysis of Shailak and the Merchant of Venice, Cherem Derbeinu Gershom, Gedolei Chasidus and Halacha. It's a very unique vantage point. This Moedim Halacha, he wrote a book, V'lo Hilchot Moed, meaning the title was carefully chosen. HaMoadim b'Halacha, the holidays in Halacha, but not the halachas of the holidays. Lo nitkavena mechaber lahaknot lekorav dinim psakim. The author, he's speaking about himself, did not intend to give his readers piskei dinim, Laman data derech yelchuba b'maser yasher yasun, so they should know exactly what to do. Rather, matrata chibur, the goal of the book is latet b'tzura shel hartzaat dvarim et hayesodot ha'elchatiyim shel kol moed. He was presenting the halachic foundations of every holiday, et mahutam shorsheim u'makoroteim, their essence, their roots, their sources, shel ikriya dinim ha'minagim shebachol chag. To get to our topic. Now, another thing, many people might have a stereotype about Rav Zevin as it's light Torah reading. Part of that is because Rav Zevin for years wrote for Hatzofeh, and then those articles were collected into books, and he wrote some popular works. However, if you dig a little deeper in the databases, you'll realize that Rav Zevin wrote, I don't know exactly what word to use, fully fleshed out halachic articles, again, with his clear style, but articles like Achronish Torah, like you find in the Sfarim of the Achronim, but no holds barred. So this is one of those articles. The article is about making Havdalah over Chanuka candles. Now, at first, it seems to be it is not practical halacha for most of us, because most of us just are going to pull out a Havdalah candle on Motzi Shabbos, and our Chanuka candles are going to be somewhere else in our house. We're not going to have to, Baruch Hashem, need to use Chanuka candles for Havdalah. This kind of a kasha, this kind of halachic situation is either theoretical or emergency. Why would a person have such a shaila? Again, if it was okay to use the Havdalah candles for the Chanuka candles for Havdalah, so I don't know. You could think maybe it's better maybe it would be great to use it if you could, maybe to do mitzvahs with. I don't know. Good question. Now, so he writes as follows, and this is the question. Nishalti mirav gadol echad. So now, what I would like to do is present the question. He presents an answer, but then he rejects it. And then his final answer brings out a yesod, brings out a foundation. And then that foundation I would like to connect up with or complement something that Rav Asher Weiss says in one of his halachas, and that will be practical halacha. Now, Nishalti mirav gadol echad ala mavur b'tov v'shulchan Orach Chaim shebemotzei Shabbos ein mavdilim in Chanuka. The Torah and the Shulchan Aruch say we don't make Havdalah over Chanuka candles. She'ein neni leoro, for we don't benefit to the light of the Chanuka candles. And we don't make a bracha over the candle until we benefit from the light. Now, two things. First of all, background. Ashkenazim use a torch usually. Use 2 weeks together, but Sfaradim use just use a normal candle. They don't require a torch. So theoretically, one of the Chanuka candles could be a Havdalah candle. Now, in the parentheses, there's a Yerushalmi that this is based on. We don't have this Yerushalmi, he says. Mekoro bar Zarua, Uverokeach, Uvepiske Rekanati, these are all Rishonim in Ashkenaz, and they all are quoting the Yerushalmi. Ulefonei Yerushalmi, we don't have such a thing in our Yerushalmi. Ela shemikol ele Rishonim lo kasvu atam she'neni, meaning, the Yerushalmi says not to use the Chanuka candles for Havdalah. The Shulchan Aruch adds the reasoning. She'ein nehanim le'oro, ve'im mevarchim al haner ad sheyoseh oro. For you don't benefit from the candles, from the Chanuka candles, and you don't make a bracha on the Havdalah candle until you benefit from the light. The Heksha. This Rav asked Rav Zevin, Harei afilu la'asovrin b'gemara mutar leishtamesh la'ora. It sounds from the Shulchan Aruch, it's only because it's prohibited to use the Chanuka candles, ein lanu reshus leishtamesh bahem, that you can't make Havdalah over Chanuka candles. But it sounds from the Shulchan Aruch that if it was mutter to use the Chanuka candles, it sounds like if you held that it's mutter, it should be okay from the Shulchan Aruch. But this Rav asked the question, wait a second, even if it's permitted to use the Chanuka candles for light, isn't it still ner mitzvah of ner Chanuka? And isn't this an example of a candle that is both lemitzvah and lehayer? Isn't it both for the mitzvah of ner Chanukah and to illuminate? If there's a light, if there's a candle that is both for honor. Now, examples of that would be candles in a synagogue, candles for the mace. So something that was lit, yurtzeit candle. So even if it was both lekavod lahayir, ein mavarchim, according to Talmid Rabbi. V'chein pasku b'shulchan aruch harav, and that's paskin over Pri Megadim Mishnah Berurah Sham. V'lama kasvu atam mipnei she'ein neni l'or. Why did he write the reason? Why did the shulchan write that it's because we don't benefit? Even if we could benefit from the light, it would still be considered also near mitzvah. Now, so that's the question. The question is, the Shulchan Aruch implies that if we were to paskin mutar lishtamish laora, that it was okay to use the light of the Chanuka candles, then it should be okay to make Havdalah on it. Whereas, according to Talmidei Rabbeinu Yonah, things like the candles in a shul or the candles in a that are for the dead, even if they are also laha'ir, they are invalid for Havdalah candles. Okay, that's the problem. So this goes against that which is already also paskin in halach. Now, one possible yishuv he's going to reject. Now, when you make the bracha, so after the Chanuka candles have been lit, we paskin kavasa ein zakukla, that if the Chanuka candles go out, you don't have to relight them. As long as when you lit them in a way that they would be able to last a half hour. But if they go out, you don't have to relight them. It's not that the candles have to stay lit for a half hour. the candles have to be lit in a way that they would stay for a half hour. But if they go out, you don't have to relight. So then it ends up, says Rav Zevin, after it's already lit, so you don't need the mitzvah anymore. As far as the mitzvah goes, we don't care if it's going to go out. And now the candle is only for illumination because the mitzvah part is already not necessary. And therefore it follows that it should be okay to use it for Havdalah candles if it was mutter to use the light of the candles, but we passed it differently. Okay, so that's a suggestion of one way that we might have been able to resolve the difficulty. Now, he has a long, there are many pages then. Those many pages actually are parallel to a portion of the article that we read about, that we used about snow. And I'm going to skip all that, and we're going to focus on near the end of the article. So he hadrin the meikara shebener shel Havdalah ein tzarich she'nidlak meikara lahayir. A Havdalah candle doesn't have to initially be lit for illumination. Even if it was a Chanuka, let's say it was something that somebody lit a yurtzeit candle, and then they say, "Oh, today's not the yurtzeit. Oh, it's a week. We're a week off." Okay, so then they say, "Oh, so we'll just use it as one of the candles in the room." So that would be a candle we could use for Havdalah. Why? Even though initially it was lekavod, now it's lahayir. Initially it was lekavod and lahayir, now it's just lahayir, and that's fine. Again, lahayir for illumination and for kavod for honor. Just a moment. What if a candle is lit in a way to last for 30 minutes? It goes. Okay. So according to this, meaning if you would relight it for aesthetic purposes, meaning not. It's certainly mutter to relight it, certainly okay to relight it. Now the question is, can you light it, but not for Chanuka candles? Can you relight it and use it for something else? Ostensibly, yes. Again, this isn't a sheer and practical halacha, but in the context, but this is, I just want to point out, in the context of this article, we're going to hold on to that thought until the next panel. Wait. I jumped. Where am I? How can I get to the next one? Just a moment. Okay, I'm not sure I go backwards. Now, the relighting would be so that the room can have the beauty of Chanuka light as compared to a bunch of lights that have gone out. Right, but meaning it would be for not for Kiyum mitzvahs ner Chanuka, but also not for the need to have illumination, but it would be aesthetic illumination. Yeah, ostensibly that should be okay. Is that lahayir? That's a good question. Now, so Rav Zevin has a whole argument with a number of other achronim about something that initially was done for two purposes, and subsequently it is only for one of them. And he, in a number of areas, again, we saw it last time with regards to a chalitza shoe, with regards to a Havdalah candle, with regards to water in a mikveh, even if something initially was done for a number of reasons, if eventually it was done just for one of them, and that's the one that is needed, that's fine. Now, the candle doesn't initially have to be lit for illumination. All that counts is that right now, when you're going to make the bracha over the Havdalah candles, it's made for illumination. Even though initially it was lit for honor or for the mitzvah and the like. Mishnah Berurah, again, he has an argument with the Mishnah Berurah on something. They would say, no, now maybe we can say once again, like the teretz that we initially wanted to say, even though it was initially lit for the mitzvah, because we hold that if the Chanuka candle goes out, you don't have to relight it. It doesn't. It's not needed for the mitzvah because right now, theoretically, if it would go out, it's okay. You don't need to relight it. So right now, it's not necessary for the mitzvah. So once again, for those people who would say that it's okay to use the Chanuka candles for illumination, you could make the bracha borei me'orei ha'esh, ata asui l'hayir bavad. Now it is only for illumination, and that would explain the Shulchan Aruch, that even though initially it was le mitzvah, but now it's only l'hayir, and therefore it's okay. But there's still the problem of it's also to use it. That was a possible resolution, but he doesn't go with it. The reason for that is I'm not comfortable with it. Even though if it would go out, as long as it hasn't gone out, it still is defined as a candle of mitzvah. When you light, it has to have a half hour's worth of fuel, of oil. If it didn't have a half an hour's worth of oil, so you wouldn't be yotze. You lit a whole half hour's worth of mitzvah lighting. How does it not get defined as a mitzvah candle just because if theoretically if it would go out, you wouldn't have to relight it. But right now it's lit. Let's say now you just say, I don't want this to be defined as an air mitzvah. Meaning even though it didn't go out, you're saying, I don't want it to be defined as an air mitzvah. Still, we have a klal that comes from, there's a sugya of the Gemara about this, that thought will not remove a status created by an action. Okay. And you can't purposely put it out. Sorry, I should say it differently. You shouldn't put it out purposely. And I'll read it along right away with the Prima Gadim. If it did go out, you don't have to relight it. If you purposely put it out, zakukla, you must relight it. That's what the Mechaber says. V'kiba oso b'shogeg ein zakuklo. If you put it out by accident, if it went out by accident, you put it out by accident, you don't have to relight it. Mashma shabim meizid zakuklo. It sounds that if you would purposely light it, put it out, you would have to relight it. Now, so he's still got a problem. Isn't Chanuka candles still a near mitzvah? Even though theoretically, if it would go out, you wouldn't have to relight it. But right now it's lit. And just thinking that you're not going to use it is not going to work. And you can't purposely put it out. So we need a different reason why, according to the Shulchan Aruch, the only reason you can use a Chanuka candle for Havdalah is because it's prohibited to use it. He says the following. Sorry, I forgot there's another kasha. He's got another kasha. What's our prototype? What are our prototypes of Ner Lekavod? Lekavod Ames, Lekavod Adam Chashuv. They would like candles. We like candles for Yurtzeit candles, candles for the dead, candles Lekavod Adam Chashuv. We like candles if there's an important person and the like. So those candles are not prohibited to use. Meaning, let's say you light a candle for an Adam Chashuv. It's not good for Havdalah, even though it's mutter to use. ופשוט שהכוונה שיהיה עשוי להעיר באמת, היינו להשתמש בפועל לאורו, ושוב בשעת הברכה אין צורך שישתמש באמס. רק שיהיה יכול להשתמש בו. Isn't the issue that you're able to illuminate it? That you're able to use it for the normal uses of a candle, which are illumination. That's what it's made for. What does it make a difference whether it's mutter or usher to use it? They lit it for Chanuka candles, not for use. Meaning, according to the Shulchan Aruch, if it would be mutter to use, well, then you could use it for Havdalah. But a candle lit for chashuv, a person, let's say you have a very important guest, a very important dignitary comes and they light candles in the palace of Chizkiyahu HaMelech or David HaMelech, what have you. Well, that's a candle that is mutter to use, but it is still not a candle you could use for Havdalah because it's essentially l'chavod, or it's l'chavod ulahayah, like the Talmud Rabbi says. So why does it even make a difference? Meaning, number one, why should the fact that it's mutter to use, question number one, why should the fact that it's mutter to use make it okay for a Havdalah candle? Because right now it's still a ner mitzvah, even if it would be mutter to use. And number two, the analogy to kavod ames, isn't that an example of something which is mutter to use, but is essentially made for kavod, and yet still is not good for Havdalah? So those are our difficulties. So Rav Zevin comes up with the following suggestion. He says, "V'ilu leila mistafina." If I was not afraid, meaning that's a humble way of suggesting a chiddush. Hava mina milsa chadasa, I would say something new. Shener hasui lechavod shein mevarchin alav, the candle which is made for honor, like the candles that are lit in the palace for an important dignitary, or the candles that are lit lekavod ames. Shein mevarchin alav ina kavana shea or gufahu lechavod. It's not that the light itself is for honor. It's the fire of the candle that was lit for honor. You don't need the light. It's not the light, it's the fire. It's just a beautiful little fire, the candle. The light is even not lekavod. She'ilu hayazeh kvodo shea or azayin tashmish zeh shel kavod garu mishar tashmishim. If it was his honor that it should be for light, then using it for kavod should not be any different than any other use. It doesn't make a difference what kind of use they do with the light. If the illumination is for kavod, that's illumination also. That should be fine. The whole difference, he says, this whole halacha that appears in the Gemara, that a ner that is made for kavod, kavod ames, kavod adam chashuv, kavod beis hakneses is not valid for Havdalah candles, it's because the fire is lekavod. A mace, darkolotzio bayom, they bring it out during the day. Shaz lo shayach klal lahayir. Illumination is irrelevant during the day. Shari bayom ein kan or klal. There's no light. There's no illumination. That's the klal in the Gemara. Shraga b'tiara mai mahani. What good does a candle do in midday? Even when you're davening during the day and there's no need for illumination, they light those candles for kavod. It's not the light, the shraga batira, because the light is not accomplish anything. It's the fire. But if the light would be l'chavod, or is a shapar light? That's another. That would just be light that was made for illumination. What does it make a difference if you're illuminating so you can read, or you're illuminating so you can do all sorts of stuff in the room, or you're illuminating for honor? It's still illumination, and that would be good for Havdalah. Now everything is understandable. Chanukah candles are not just for fire being lit. The main point of Chanuka candles is that there be light, not that we light fire, but that we illuminate. But the goal of that illumination is not for use. The mitzvah is the illumination. Shari Ner Chanuka, but it's not for use. Shari Ner Chanuka im zeichel l'neros hamenorah shebemikdash. Ner Chanuka is modeled after the candles in the mikdash. Uva menorah kasuv uva menorah kasuv hadaru batorah. I'm not sure what this. Something's wrong with it. I can't understand these words. These next couple words. Uva menorah kasuv batorah el mul penei hamenorah ya'iru shivas. It says explicitly that ner Chanukah is lehair ya'iru. Excuse me. The ner of the base of Mikdash is ya'iru shivas haneros. The 7 candles. It's not just that we're lighting fire there. It's that we have illuminations going on there. The olive oil is for illumination. Again, the menorah of the Chanuka candles don't have to be 100% like the menorah, but with the essence of the Chanuka candles, that they're for illumination and not just fire. So that is modeled after the menorah. So now we have the answer to our question. Ner Chanuka nikre asur lahayir. Ner Chanuka is made for illumination. Sharei ha-mitzvah gufa. That's what the mitzvah is, to make illumination with the Chanuka candles. V'ayam roy levarecha labirkas Havdalah. Afilu lefi halacha she'asur lishtamish laora. Shetashmish zeh shel ha-mitzvah lo garu mishar tashmishin. Because it's a ner ha'osri lahayir, and that's fine for Havdalah. Even if it would be forbidden to use it, it would still ostensibly, as a ner, be good for Havdalah. Using it for the mitzvah is no worse than anything. It's still for illumination. But there's another problem. It's a din of Havdalah. It's not the kind of candle. It's the act that needs to be done with the candle. You can't do the bracha over the Havdalah candle unless you're going to benefit from the light. You have to be able to benefit from the light. That's why you put our fingernails up to see the difference between the color of the fingernail itself, or the texture of the fingernail itself, and the finger itself, and the skin. So we use it we benefit from the light. You're not able to do that other thing that you're supposed to do with the Havdalah candle. As a candle itself, it's fine. The problem is that one of the rules, the subsequent rules of Havdalah is that you have to benefit from the light, and that you can't do from near Chanuka. Understand? You can't say, well, I'm benefiting because from this light because we're doing the mitzvah with it because we paskin where our principle is mitzvah slavnei hanis. No, that in this world we don't consider that benefit. According to those who say that it was mutter to use the Chanuka candles, that means you could use it for Abdullah. The fact that it's for the mitzvah, that's fine. That's illumination. The mitzvah is to illuminate. And you have to benefit from the candles. To benefit. And he says, if you look at the lashon of the Torah and the Shulchan Aruch, it sounds like that. Ein mavdilim b'ner Chanuka she'ein nanim le'oro, because number one, you don't benefit from the light. And ve'in mevorchin ala ner ad she'ya'osa le'oro. And the real problem is you can't make the bracha over the candle until you benefit from the light. I just want to add one thing based on the Minchas Asher. Again, his basic answer is, why is it that the Shulchan Aruch says that implies that if it was mutter, if it would have been mutter to use the Chanuka candles, you could have used them for Havdalah? He says because it only say that a candle that is both lahayer and the kavod is invalid. So his answer is those things that are the kavod, the kavod, Ner of the mace, Ner of the Beis Knesses, Ner for Adanim Chashuv. It's the fire, not the illumination, that is the kavod. Those are, that's why because those things are done even during the day. Whereas, by definition, Chanuka candles, which are modeled after the candles in the Beis Hamikdash, so they are lahayer, ya'iru shivas aniros, just like in the Beis Hamikdash, those candles. Now, one postscript. Rav Zevin has a short article about why electric lights are not good for Hanukkah candles, and he says the following. Again, there's all sorts of any quotes. There are all sorts of different opinions on this. Hanukkah candles, Shabbos candles, but his opinion is as follows: that you don't fulfill your obligation with electric lights. Why? You have to fulfill the mitzvah the way Chazal were metaking it. You don't always say, well, just accomplish the reasoning behind the mitzvah. You have to follow the rules of the mitzvah. Electric light can give you shalom bayis. Electric light can give you kavod Shabbos. Publicize the mitzvah through electric lights. There's no fire. The Chazal tiknu lahadlik eish, and Chazal were metakin to light fire. The kaven de bizmanehem lo hayalem ora chashmal. They didn't have electric lights. It's obvious that their takana was to light fire. You don't fulfill the mitzvah unless you do it through adlakas ha'esh. Now, if I put together Rav Zevin and Rav Asher Weiss, you should be well. So, Hanukkah candles, this doesn't go against what Rav Zevin was saying. Hanukkah candles must be, they're for illumination, but they are fire for illumination. Meaning, Lu Yitzur, there was, like the Gemara, Chazal have an image that the Torah was black fire on white fire. So Lu Yitzur, you could come up with some black fire. You wouldn't be outside for Hanukkah candles either, because Hanukkah candles have to illuminate, but it has to be fire that illuminates. Let me just see what the chat was. That would cover Hanukkah lights as something from which we derive benefits. Is that a benefit? Meaning you're saying like this: because we paskin asur lishtamish la'ora, so then are we not able to is that really prohibited for us to get the aesthetic benefit? I'll tell you, Chazal say, Kol mar'eh v'reach ein bahem mishum me'ila, that the sound of the Levim singing, the smell, the sight, the beautiful sight of the Beis Hamikdash, and the smell of the Ketores, it's not prohibited, it's not part of the rules of Me'ila, which is illegally using things having to do with Hegdish. So even though you can't use the light of the candles, let's say, to read, but just to look at the light and appreciate the beauty of the light, so that would be considered prohibited. But then that would not make it part of the asur lishtamesh la'ora, because that would not be considered using. That's a nice comment. I think that applying the rule about kol mara v'reach ein b'hem mishum me'ila would be applicable. I just want to add in something beautiful that happened in our synagogue, in our shul. There are two shuls next to each other. The Rabbanim love each other. They're and we get along in this little corner of our neighborhood, whatever. One shul is called Eish Kodesh, that's where I daven, and the other shul is called Menorat HaMaor, which is and it's on Rehov Nachal Maor. That's the name of the street. So one time we had a joint third meal, a joint shalosh shudas at our shul, and the two Rabbanim were there, and one of the people in the neighborhood spoke, and he talked about, again, in one of the Rabbanim is one of the elderly Rabbanim in the neighborhood, Rav Elperin, and he said something beautiful. He says the Eish Kodesh, the holy fire, illuminates the Menorat HaMaor, the candles that bring light. So I thought, after I went through this topic, and we have Rav Zevin talking about the importance of Chanuka candles as illuminating lights, like the lights of the mizbeach, like the lights of the menorah, the Menorat HaMaor, and Rav Asher Weiss talking about that Chanuka candles must be made out of fire, like the Takanas Chazal. So we end up once again having the Eish Kodesh, which is illuminating. And of course, the last thing we cannot resist is that the Torah includes both these aspects. There is the fire of Torah, the Eish Torah, the Eish HaTorah. These are great names for yeshivas. Eish HaTorah and Torah Or Torah. My son goes to yeshiva, Or Torah. So fire and light are both aspects of Torah, the energy of Torah and the elevation of Torah, along with the illumination that Torah gives us in our life. That's what I wanted to share with you today. I want to wish you the best. Kol Tuv.